Welcome to the Good Morning from the Chicken Coop podcast with Kim Johnson, your creative strategist and master mindset coach. Filled with inspiration, distinctions, perspectives, and possibilities, we help you to cultivate a mindset that leads you to create the best version of yourself you could ever imagine. Join Kim every morning from one of her favorite happy places, her chicken coop, along with all her chickens.
Hey everybody, good morning from the chicken coop. Today, we are talking about being a non-judgmental observer. Wow, doesn't that sound so great? In theory anyway, being a non-judgmental observer. Of all the things that I may ask you to do over the time we spend together here, this may be the most difficult one, being the non-judgmental observer. Probably the hardest thing I've ever had to work on in my life. I never will come out and say that I've got it conquered, because I don't, because I do have those moments where I lose my cool, and it is always me jumping to an emotional conclusion and making a judgment, and then of course having a reaction to it. I can tell you right now, my husband will listen to this later and we will laugh about it, but it's true. The stove is one of my places where I have a very hard time being a non-judgmental observer, or love when my husband cooks, but watching him flip eggs and add spices, he is like a French chef in the kitchen, and there's always stuff flying. And for me, the obsessively clean girl, it is like, oh no, the stove, and I instantaneously have a reaction. And to this day, I have to work on it, and I laugh about it, because I think it's just God's joke with me about how it reminds me that this is all work we have to do constantly. If I had it mastered and it didn't bother me, then clearly I would not remember that I was human, and I might get a little full of myself. But he reminds me every day, and I love that. So, non-judgmental observers. What does this mean? It means you can see something happen, and you can, instead of coming to a conclusion instantaneously, you can pause and you can pull yourself out of it and just say, this is interesting. Let me stop. Let me think about this. Now, I'm excellent at this with my clients. My clients can call and they can tell me anything. And believe me, they tell me some very interesting things. But I can't judge it. I have to just meet them where they are, and I have to hear them out so that I can help them. Because if I decide to go emotional, I'm not going to get them anywhere. I'm going to end up messing things up, because in my emotion, I'm not going to think clearly. Because remember, I will say this often, when emotions go up, intelligence goes down. Yes, hear that. When emotions go up, intelligence goes down. And that works positively and negatively. So it's important to remember, being the non-judgmental observer is critically important to your success in anything, because if you're not in a state of already coming to a conclusion, you can actually formulate a much better vision of the entire situation. You get a clearer picture of the situation before you can give ideas or have a way to solve it. So you have to think of this in terms of the value is in you being able to, one, not get your buttons pushed, but two, just telling yourself, I'm a non-judgmental observer right now. Adding an extra seat on your bus, so to speak, in our emotional bus, when we have that, I have my non-judgmental observer, and she's just doesn't have opinions. Clearly, she's just there to see what it's all about, take it all in, think it through. I once remember General Schwarzkopf, for those of you who remember who he was, had a comment during a speaking engagement, and he said, the smartest person in the room is often the person who speaks last. And I always thought about that, because he was such a powerful person in so many realms of the world, but he was also someone that so many people liked. And again, that's because he would observe everybody else, and then he would come to conclusions. Again, back to that non-judgmental observer mode. And I think that when we go to that place and we say, okay, I'm going to formulate my opinions. Yes, I will have an opinion, but if I do it from the place of already having the opinion going into it, I'm at a disadvantage. If I pause myself, if I pull myself out, if I can get into that place of neutral, non-judgmental observer, then I can come to a conclusion that is much more likely to serve me because I can see all the avenues around it. I can't stress to you guys enough how important this aspect is, because one of the things that it does for you is it gives you the ability to see around you what's really happening instead of just from your point of view. You know, let's go back to my kitchen example. My husband loves to cook for us, for the family. I mean, that's one of his things that he actually gets so much joy out of, is cooking. And so when he's doing it, he's not thinking about the mess he's making. I think about the mess. He thinks about the fact that he's lucky he's able to cook for his family. He loves doing that. He loves to have people try the food and say, wow, this is amazing. So he's pouring love into this, and I'm looking at it from a different point of view. Now, when I am not managing my state, when I'm not managing my insane cleaning girl, and she's sitting at the front of the bus freaking out, that's what I see. But when I am in my non-judgmental observer, I can see how much fun he's having. And I don't want to rob him of the fun. So I'm going to tell you today, I want you guys to go out and try to cultivate your non-judgmental observers and see how that takes you. See where that takes you. And I hope you have a very, very blessed day.